Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about the possibility of China offering aid to Russia in Ukraine. We're going to talk about why they might do it and why they haven't so far. And we'll just kind of run through the possibilities and what might happen. If you've missed it, the U.S. has kind of indicated that they are now concerned China may be considering that. They may be considering offering military aid to Russia to be used in Ukraine. It's prompted a message. Just saw the news about China sending military aid to Russia for Ukraine. You always say countries don't have friends, they have interest. What possible interest does China have in Ukraine? It seems better for them if Ukraine wins. I don't see their interest. You're asking the right question, but you're not thinking cheatery enough. China does not care who wins in Ukraine. They do not care at all. I would imagine as far as the grain market and everything like that, it would be better for Ukraine to win for them. But they don't care. That's not why China would do this if they decide to. China, generally speaking, has a "my name's Paul, that's between y'all" attitude towards Europe. It's not my business. That's just a market. I don't care what you guys do over there. That's the way they've traditionally looked at it. The United States could probably learn a lot from looking at a hands-off approach to various parts of the world like that. Okay, so if they don't actually care about the outcome of the conflict, why would they offer military aid? What does it get them? What do they get out of it? That's their interest. Contrary to a lot of coverage, Russia is not performing well. They're not doing well in this fight. They haven't achieved any of their victory conditions. They haven't even achieved the victory conditions that they changed the victory conditions to. They don't control all of the areas that they have, quote, annexed. They're not doing well. If China was to give them military aid, keeps them in the fight longer. Keeps them in the fight longer, which means the West is also going to be in the fight longer. They're going to have to pay attention to it. China and Russia are not the great friends that they pretend to be on the international scene. And China is wanting to counter the West in a lot of ways. There's a scene in a movie where this guy, he asks an arms dealer, and he's like, during this conflict, you armed both sides. Which one did you want to win? And the guy's like, did you ever consider I wanted them both to lose? That's what China wants here. They get a degraded military for whoever loses, right? And then whoever the winner is, they are bogged down in this conflict. If Russia succeeds in achieving its victory conditions, keep in mind that just gets them to the hard part. That just gets them to the occupation part. So it would take Russia out of the game for a while. And it would keep the U.S. occupied, the West occupied, which frees up China to make its moves elsewhere in its traditional sphere of influence and in Africa. So, if it is such a smart move for them, why haven't they done it already? The same thing that may deter them from doing it now. China is great at soft power. Amazing. They're the best. They're better than the U.S. when it comes to exercising soft power, which is money and influence, not bombs and bullets, right? When they go into a country in Africa to extract minerals, they're doing, in essence, the same thing the West does. But when China does it, they're building railroads and ports and hospitals, and the deal that the host country gets, it's better. It's better because China is state-directed. It's not a bunch of independent firms each trying to extract as much wealth as possible out of it. So that host nation, it gets more out of it. And in a lot of the world, China is seen as like the good guy, big power, because their deals are more symbiotic. If China starts arming parties to conflicts that it's not involved in, that reputation will start to be ruined. Because once you do it once, well, I mean, you might as well do it again. And eventually, China's foreign policy will look like the United States foreign policy. That's bad. I mean, I would definitely prefer that the U.S. take pointers from China on how to exercise soft power than China take pointers from the U.S. on military aid and what it can do for national interests. The world would be better off. So while they're talking about it, part of it may just be rhetoric because, that their balloon got blown up. And part of it may be them seriously considering it. At the same time, the reason they haven't done it is their foreign policy experts who have wielded all of this soft power successfully, they know what I just said. They know that once you cross that line and you really start doing that and you start playing the Masters of the Universe game where you're hoping that conflict lasts longer because it's better for you, they know that once you go down that road, it's really hard to turn around. And it would undermine all of the goodwill that they've generated. Because once they do it in Ukraine, well, they may do it in Mali next. And people will see that. So that's their possible reason for doing it. And a really good reason why they may not. When you're looking at it through a U.S.-style foreign policy, yeah, of course you would do it. Yeah, you keep that fighting going as long as possible because that's good for U.S. national interest, keeps them unstable. China's foreign policy is softer, and they may not do it because it would undermine all of the goodwill that they've built. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.